Welcome to Life Lab Podcast. I am very, very excited. You see, if I have a good voice that's good for singing, I would have said I want to dedicate the song for all of you. Songs like, we are grateful. Because the love is choking. See, from the likes to comments, the online engagement, even physical engagement. I've been seeing people that said, you guys are doing too much. That is why we are here, because of you guys. We are here to create good content for you guys. And the fact that you guys still go back and watch, I really appreciate you guys. You are doing well. Now go there, so say thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, information that you did not pay for. On the Life Lab Podcast, we are very, very patriotic, and we want to use this medium and this platform to beg every one of you that have not gotten your PVC. Please go and get your PVC. If you are 18 years and above, just go to cvr.inecnigeria.org. cvr.inecnigeria.org. Anything that has to do with election process, PVC, you want to change your polling unit, you want to register, you want to renew, just go to the site. But that is how we can have a great Nigeria. And that will lead us to the conversation of today. What we are discussing today is around the state of the nation. And I will not be doing this alone. As usual now, you know that we would always bring in wonderful guests who is going to give us their perspective and what they feel about our topic. And I have my wonderful co-host with me. Guess what? This guy, his name was mentioned 1,001 times in the Bible. When I tell you 1,001 times, there's John, there's First John, there's Second John, there's Third John, there's John the Beloved, there's John the Bearded, there's John. Stop. Make welcome John Omotosho. John.
All right, thank you, Deji. Guy, the hype is too much. Mafia hype is really shit. John the Bearded. It's an honor to be on the show.
As always.
Yeah, sure.
As always, you're welcome.
You this stubborn boy.
And in front of me, I have, you see this man,
Incoming.
I call him incoming.
Incoming.
He's the Egbon Pata. You see, when you see him, just know that there's peace.
Bill him.
Don't think it too much. Don't think it too much. Make welcome Mike Adekunle.
Yeah, thank you so
Incoming.
much. No problem. We have what is called Smile Agenda. When we get in, we will lay it bare. Smile Agenda.
I'm already smiling already.
So we can't be in government and you don't smile. Everybody will smile.
You sure?
Yes.
So yeah, now.
Is there. When we get
Hold you accountable. Hold you accountable.
Don't worry.
It is well. And to our wonderful guest, the man that we've brought. You see this man, I have listened to him and watched him from afar. And he has traveled far and wide. That is why we, Life Lab, we thought to travel far and wide too. We went to Kano, to Abidjan, to Zamfara. We even went to the UK to bring him so that you guys can, like, if you hear him speak, you know that, yes, if this man was alive during the time of Solomon, I'm very sure we would have been going to advise Solomon to divide that child that the mother will show. Wisdom choke. Guess what? Even if he was alive during the time of Adam and Eve, we have told Adam, don't chop that apple. You see, make welcome Barrister Jide Ologun. Barrister Jide Ologun is one man that every one of us would love to listen to.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm very sure this topic that I'm discussing today is not going to be an exception. We are discussing about the state of the nation, Nigeria. You see, as of the time of this recording, it is 32 days that the children in Oyo have been adopted, and we would have stories like that, series of banditry, series of killings, and we've heard a lot of young people who are saying what can be done. We really want to know what is even happening in the country. And I, for myself, I'll be coming from that angle, Barrister. I would be asking questions based on, I don't want to say ignorant Nigerians, but Nigerians that we don't know what is happening, really want to know what is happening. So, Barrister, can you just start with us? What do you think, or what do you perceive the country is at the moment right now?
Thank you very much. We have a huge constitutional challenge. I will start from Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigeria Constitution 1999 as amended, that states clearly that the security and the welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. That is to say, if government is setting out to do anything, the one you should first settle are those two issues. And of course, it's when you are secure that you start talking about welfare. You see, so right now, the level of insecurity in the country is so bad. And I'm glad the president is not even denying it. You see, and the welfare also is in a terrible state. In a country of a projected population in the region of about 235 million, if 145 million citizens are within the multifaceted poverty window, then there are crises in the land. I did the research on China, and the poverty percentage in China is in the single digit. In fact, China boasts of rolling out millionaires. So that tells us where we are. That is reality. Fine, we have argued, these things are inherited. Yes, they must be inherited. It's a function of leadership. But again, that is why we have classification of leadership. We have transformational leadership, transactional leadership, and then the government is trying, but in the boardroom, you are not rewarded for efforts. You are rewarded for results. And that is why some of us are critically concerned. And we have advised. We know the foundation of terrorism in Nigeria. One of those who started speaking when this thing started. Now it has grown, but we can still deal with it. And I have suggested that the president, who also is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, does not need to be telling the terrorists to surrender. They won't surrender. They are wicked souls. If they wanted to surrender, they would have done that in 2009 when Mohammed Yusuf, who started Boko Haram in Maiduguri, was taken out. So it's now a culture for them, culture of violence. I mean, if you slaughter a human being, do the recording and post the video, not sure that's a joke at all. So, and as a chief superintendent of police, I understand the concept of invasion. If anybody invades your territory, it's an enemy. So you don't, in fact, I pushed this thing to the Bible, and I was asking God to explain to me what Jesus meant by saying, be gentle as dove, but wise as serpent. So you can imagine going to disturb a serpent in the serpent hole. So that serpent will now wrap around you and be kissing you. No. Strict, and Iraq has dealt with terrorism. Bangladesh has dealt with terrorism. Saudi Arabia has dealt with terrorism. Even Singapore has dealt with terrorism. How do you deal with this? By direct pragmatic approach. This debate of whether you are, in fact, under the anti-kidnapping laws in Nigeria, negotiating is even a crime. And currently, in West Africa, it may not be a populous reference, but Traore in Burkina Faso is engaging the terrorists with drones. He has reduced the soldiers, foot soldiers' engagement by about 80%. So these terrorists just see fireworks from the sky. So we have all this. Even in Nigeria, the governor of Enugu State, Mba, is engaging all this crime with technology. So I asked a question. When former President Muhammadu Buhari was the president of Nigeria, we spent billions of naira buying Tucano jets. Where are these jets? You see, how do these terrorists post their videos? They have their special network, and we claim that we don't have database with that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Sincerely speaking, I love my president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I have studied him. I'm his follower, in terms of determination in life to get to where you are going and everything. But we are talking about governance here. And I have advised the president should not allow people to mess up his government. What we have right now is coals of fire as a pillow. We don't sleep on that pillow. Because at the end of the day, I've said it, people we know will not just be talking about a president that won election twice. But what happened within that window of governance? right now as we speak, the inflation is about 15.93%. We want to talk about, and that's the headline inflation, food inflation, different kinds of cost in the country. The minimum wage and not take anybody anywhere. So there are issues on ground. And then it's good that he comes back to the action table, not even the drawing table. To put things...
We have been on drawing table for
exactly. To put things together. Because I look at democracy that we claim to be practiced. The root of democracy is in the Greek word, demokratio. And the demos, 2 words, means common people, not just common people. The democratio is power. And we have that domiciled in our constitution, section 14, subsection 2, that I quoted earlier, that says that sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom the government derives power and authority. So the people are the custodians. And if you now go to section 16 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly that the economy should be managed in a way that is dynamic and self-reliant, that the economy should be managed in a way that maximum happiness and welfare are provided for you, the people, and that wealth and the means of creating wealth are not concentrated in the hands of a few. And if you go to sub 2D, it says that available and affordable food, available and affordable housing, reasonable living national minimum wage, living wage, unemployment benefit, care for the old, the disabled, and again, pensions be provided for all citizens. All citizens. So it's clear there.
Oh, Barrister, sir, now that you've stated all of these things now, they are the ideal that should be done. But for me, I am not experiencing all these good things that you've said. It's not looking as if, because number one, my security is not even covered. And the recent things that have been happening that
The inflation is on the high
subsidy.
side.
Now, the present administration has been in office for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that that subsidy should have been or not? Because it has been said that the subsidy that was removed was shared within the states in the country, and the allocations for each government or each governor of each state has increased.
Yeah.
Now, tax
Up to
the tax reform and the tax law and
Yeah.
everything. If they begin to take that money now, what do you know they want to use that money for? Because subsidies, we've not seen the result of the subsidy. So as a
Instead of
citizen now,
inflation.
I'm just saying everything. What used to be $5 before has
It's now
increased.
20-25 now.
This one as this one.
Yeah.
And you said all of what you said now. It sounds like, okay, this is the ideal thing, but that is not my experience.
Thank you very much for that brilliant concern. You see, I express the same concern. Let me say this. Almost all the candidates for presidency towards 2023 election promised to remove the subsidy.
Yeah.
And it was a bold step the president took. It must be commended for it, because those were 2 drainages in the country, talking about the foreign exchange windows also. But there was an error. So when he removed the fuel subsidy, revenue accrued to the government. When I checked, that's about 10 trillion naira.
So,
Now, some of us expected that it should be spent to cushion the impact, because the citizens started bearing that subsidy. Because when you talk of subsidy, it means you are subsidizing the weight
Yeah.
to make it less. Started paying more for fuel and things like that, all the band A and everything. But the president said he released the money to the governors. And the governors also acknowledged receiving that money. And I followed through. At a point, the president called some of the governors, so I've given you people more money, the people are suffering. In project management, you don't fail midway. You fail ab initio from the onset. That is why you must proactively think through. Is my president telling me that he does not know the governors in Nigeria? that their priority may not be taking care of the people. Because we are in an environment where politics is heavily monetized.
Yeah.
In an environment where you need 100 million naira to buy form.
Oh, yeah.
Where you must settle your structure, buy votes and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he could have found another way of managing that inflow. Peradventure, set up a new refinery, because turning around the moribund refinery would have been, reviving a scrap.
Mm-hmm.
Dangote has proved that it can work. He has built the biggest refinery in Africa.
Yeah.
Set that up to compete with Dangote. Or the CNG that was introduced, compressed natural gas. We have this gas in the country.
Yeah.
Set up this station so that those who cannot afford the price of the fuel can now migrate to. I wanted to migrate to CNG. I'm still on it right now. The kits are not available. At the time, the government brought about 100,000 kits out of about 10 million vehicles. Let's even be conservative. How far can that go? So those alternatives were not provided. And the citizens are the ones paying. I know how much I pay. I cough out every month to fuel the vehicles in the family. So I agree with that. And I hope the president has realized it. And in public relations, you talk about perception. The perception people have now is that money was given to the governors and the local government leadership in preparation for the second election of 2027, that they will bring the money out. Which is wrong. Performance could have made the job easier for the president. Yes, my defection of governors and things. When former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was the president of Nigeria, about 31 governors were in PDP.
Yeah.
With him. So for politicians, they go where the sugar is on the table.
Yeah.
It's ants. So it's actually no big deal for them. And again, talking about the Constitution, if you talk about legislators defecting, the Constitution has a provision to curb it. But in the case of governors, no provision. So that's why you see them moving. So it has now become as if we have derailed from democracy and we are now practicing politocracy, which is the government of politicians by politicians and from politicians. You see, so the wealth that should have been used to touch the lives of the citizens is just in the corner of the wealthy. You see, so you talk about, you can see right now the food price, because when the pound price of petroleum went up, definitely it will affect the movement from where food is produced to where it is purchased. Again, the insecurity, farmers being killed here and there. So we have fundamental issues we are not dealing with, and I want to advise the president on that. Otherwise, they will just be giving him the impression all is well. And that is why in one of his addresses, if I were to be his public relations advisor, I would have said, my president, you shouldn't have said that. That if people cannot see the good things, give them Digi Bola. No. That wasn't a proper statement to make. You see, you are even acknowledging me that it's as if they are not saying the good things. No, people want to feel it. I want to touch it. You see, when you ask me, if my wife is telling me, oh, go out there and tell everybody I'm beautiful, give me that beauty. Let me let me see what I'm going to tell people about. You know what I mean? That's what we are saying here. In public relations, you talk about image. You talk about reputation. You can come out and say, oh, I'm the best country in the world. For your reputation is what we will use. That's what we call economic environment. What is the reputation? What are the things we can say about that nation? For instance, now, I've been advising the government and the stakeholders and leadership. You talk about sovereign wealth. Norway has the biggest sovereign wealth in the world, about 2.2 trillion US dollars. Where did they get it from? From oil and gas. What have they done? Instead of some people embezzling the money, they said, no, we are not going to waste this money. Let's buy stocks and let's invest in blue chip companies across the globe. And now they have about 2.2 trillion US dollars saved for children unborn. And what's the population of Norway? About 5.6 million people. You see? And yet, you compare that with the reality we have in this country, where, as we dialogued this morning, for instance, the total indebtedness of Nigeria is between 159 and 160 trillion naira. You see, so you see some in abundance, you see some in the negative. And what Proverbs 22:7 says, Proverbs 22:7 says that the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. You see, even before leaving the oil and gas sector, even Dangote that has built the biggest refinery in Africa is finding it difficult to access enough crude to run that infrastructure. So these are realities. It may not affect the high and mighty because, after all, from taxpayers' money, they buy their SUVs, they fuel their vehicles, they have different kinds of allowances. But what about the majority of the citizens? And when you talk about democracy, its focus is on the majority of the citizens. You know, and these are the realities on ground that cannot be denied.
Yeah. So, sir, you did made mention of about 10 trillion naira from the subsidy that was allocated to the governors. So I'm going to ask Pastor Mike this question. So, according to what he said regarding the 10 trillion naira, how do we hold our government, our governors, our local government chairmen accountable? How do we ask them to give us a concrete details of how this money was being spent? How do we, as in ordinary people, ask these people?
Sorry, sir, before you answer, before, we used to know the amount that they are giving them. All of the soldiers, they just stopped.
Because every month, no, they don't tell us what they give them per state. But then they should share balances.
And it increases them.
And it has increased.
How do we ask
So
them?
if they can't be accountable, at least I believe every governor should be able to say, okay,
This is the
like it
amount.
So don't judge me based on what you are saying. I am working based on what
The government,
they
the federal government,
5
has
naira.
set
That
my
is why I
house.
can do 4 naira.
Yes.
So the governor should be able to do that. But now they're not doing it now. So how should I?
Instead,
I want to hold my governor accountable.
even before that, instead you see governors coming out to even criticize the local government chairman that the money the federal government is allocating to the local government chairman should be in the state government purse.
As how?
Like,
Where
all of these things are issues that needs to be
when the
discussed.
current administration got into power, that was resolved, giving autonomy to the local government.
But we said the autonomy was given, but in the real sense, was the autonomy actually given?
Yeah, it was given actually.
Sure.
Whether it was practiced or not,
Implemented.
implemented or not, it's between the state government and the local government, but it's still within the state.
Okay.
All right. But this is where I'm going. Our major problem in this country is systemic and can also be resolved by building system. Now, when Barrister was talking earlier, what the president did by saying, okay, the money gotten from the subsidy should be, channeled back to the people, is a fantastic idea. But was there a system in place to monitor the process, to monitor transparency and accountability? See, listen to me. If you give somebody money, I do what is called parenting, actually. Many a times we see parents tempting their children to do what is not. You are telling your child, don't steal. And you are fronting money before your child. You don't keep money. You don't know how to keep things. Young thing, one day, we arose from that and said, let me pick out of this money. I see it everywhere because it's saying it. So if no system is built to cater for transparency in the way the money is being disbursed, the way the money is being spent, nobody will be accountable for it because it appears that nobody is watching. Nobody cares.
Let me interrupt you there. If they're saying no agency, no parastatal is in place, or no system is in place to check these people, what is the work of the EFCC? What's the work of the
ICPC?
What are they doing?
Yeah,
because at some point, I discovered that since present president now, I noticed that the EFCC chairman has been, let me use the word, permits me to use the word, witch hunting other people from other party. You will hardly hear
Like this,
the EFCC chairman go against. Sorry. It is something. It's been selective. It should cut across all parties, irrespective of who you are answering to.
I have not seen selective.
I have seen we can make you know what I'm talking about.